and welcome to my very first podcast, Francesca's Final Whistle. And today's episode will be about the World Cup. Obviously, there's been some of the opening games which started on Thursday, and there has been some surprises in the games. So, obviously, Mexico winning, but with the red cards, there was 3 red cards in that game, which the record was nearly broken already, and it was only the first game of obviously the tournament. But yeah, so today's episode will be about the World Cup and obviously the different matters of it. So like I'll be talking about like the favourites to win, who could be like the best player, all of that. I'll be talking about it. So I do think that the biggest surprise result this week has been Scotland. Obviously they haven't been in the World Cup for a very long time, so I do think that it has been a massive shock that they did win against Haiti. Yes, it was only 1-0, but a win is a win at the end of the day. Like, it was a massive shock, but that has been a surprise result this week. I do think a big game that has happened, like, I didn't think with Germany that they'd win 7-1. So that was a really big game for them, like opening game, and you're winning 7-1. Like, your goal difference is going to be brilliant already. So if you do concede more goals, it doesn't really matter because obviously you're already on 6 goal difference. So they've already been, obviously they're at the top of the table. And Japan drawing, which was a massive surprise in the football so far. With obviously Japan, like, I just didn't think that Japan would have drew to Netherlands. I did actually think that Netherlands would have won that game, maybe by like 2-0 or 2-1, but obviously Japan nicked it at the end and got a point out of it. I do think that, like, with Brazil versus Morocco, that was a massive shock as well. I did think that Brazil would have had it against Morocco. Like, yes, Morocco are a very strong team, but so are Brazil. So I did think that Brazil would have had it in them to win it. Like, obviously they've got Rafinha, they've got Cunha, they've got Vinicius Junior. Like, they have got that attacking. So I did think that they would have won their opening game. So it would have been very disappointing that they only got the draw out of it, but it is what it is. I do think that with England, I don't think they are exactly ready to win the World Cup. They have got the squad, but they have got that pressure as well of winning it. They've always had that pressure with the Euros and the World Cup to go and win it. But I do think they'll get very far, but obviously you've got strong opponents like France, you have got Brazil, you have got Spain, which Spain have won the Euros, so they have got that thing of that pressure with other opponents. But you never know, they may surprise us, they may go and win it, but you just never know with football. Talking about England though, their most important player is obviously Harry Kane. Like, he has been so important to England. Like, he's just that player that you always need in your squad. Like, he's obviously been brilliant at Bayern Munich. He is just that player that he is the first player that you add into your squad list. Out of everyone, Harry Kane is your first player that you add in. He's the first person that you call to say, yeah, you've been called up to the World Cup. But I do think if he does get an injury in this World Cup, let's hope not, they have obviously got the replacement, but I do think that you always need Harry Kane. Like, he is the captain. Like, he is just the player that you need. But I'm going to go with my predicted lineup for the Wednesday's opening game for England against Croatia. So obviously you have Pickford in goal. Croatia are a strong team. So in the goal, and it's Jordan Pickford. In the back, I'd have James, Konza, Stones and O'Reilly. James creates chances. He passes the ball. I'm a Chelsea fan. Like, I love Reece James. He is a Cobham boy. Like, he's just brilliant. Like, he just brings it in. Like, he defends very well. He takes the ball. He is what you need in this game. Obviously, Konza, he has just won the Europa League with Villa. So, obviously, you need him up one thing I will say, why didn't Maguire get called up? He has been phenomenal for United. He's always been called up, but now for a World Cup, you're not calling him up. There's obviously going to be talks about it. There's going to be speculations. I'm not sure why you would obviously choose Stones over Maguire. Stones hasn't really played Man City this season. So, like, why has Stones been picked over Maguire? Does Tuchel not like Maguire? They're the talks that you're going to have. Obviously, in the midfield, you've got to have Rice. You've got to have Anderson. They're your two players that is going to help your midfield. So Rice obviously getting to the Champions League final against PSG, winning the Premier League. He is, without doubt, you would need him in your midfield. Anderson, he has been brilliant for Nottingham Forest. Yes, they were fighting relegation a little bit, but they were in the Europa League. It is obviously going to tire these players out. But Anderson has been non-stop. Obviously, he's been in talks with United, City to go and join them. Like, he's a brilliant player. And then obviously your front. You're obviously going to have Harry Kane up front. But behind him, to be fair, you would have Madueke. Like, Madueke is a brilliant player. Like I've obviously said about Rice. They've obviously won the Premier League. They've got to a final of the Champions League. You will need him. Bellingham, yes, another one. You'd call him up. Like, he was brilliant in the Euros. So I do think that having him in the squad and the lineup for Wednesday's game would be the perfect move. Gordon as well. I think Gordon should be playing in the starting lineup. Definitely 100%. Obviously, he's just signed for Barcelona from Newcastle. So he creates them chances like we've seen in these friendlies. He's been brilliant. So obviously, having that, like, it'd be brilliant to have in that squad. Obviously, he can just pass to Kane. Kane headers it. He shoots. He scores. Harry Kane doesn't really miss that much. Like, look at the goals he has had for Bayern Munich. The guy's a beast. Let's just say he is a beast. But moving on from England, I do think with the groups there is a few tough groups out there. So you have got Group H with Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, Spain and Uruguay. I do think that is a tough group with Uruguay and Spain particularly. And then obviously you've got Group C as well, which is another tough one. You've obviously got Scotland, Morocco, Brazil. They're three big teams. Like, I do think Scotland are going to be a tough one to play against. Like, you've obviously got McTominay, who's been phenomenal for Napoli. You've got John McGinn, who has just won the Europa League with Villa. So I do think that they have got that again, like that with them, that they're going to be a strong side in this tournament. You've obviously got Brazil. Brazil with Ancelotti, they could do really well. Yes, they drew in their first opening game, but I do think that they have got it. And it's going to be a tough group for them because you just never know who could actually finish top of that table. Like, you've got Morocco as well, Hakimi, who plays for them. He just won back-to-back Champions Leagues. He's obviously come back from injury. And he's obviously won the Champions League with PSG. So I do think that is a tough group to have. I do think it's going to be a tough one for the predictions of the knockout stages, which I will go into obviously in a further episode. Due to obviously it's been the opening games, you can't really predict anything just yet. But I do think for the favourites to win this tournament would be France or Spain. They're like your top two that you would also like you would see on paper and think they could be in the final together, and it could be like ultimate death. Like, you just never know. It could either be Spain winning, like they've obviously just won the Euros, but obviously you've got France, who have got a really strong team. You've got Dembele, you've got Mbappe. Like, you've got really strong teams in this tournament. So I do think that them two are the favourites to win by a mile. I would like to say England, but obviously they get to the finals, but they haven't won a trophy in a very long time. So I do think they have that pressure, but you just never know. there could be some upsets. Like, you just never know with football. Like, you can't really predict anything because it's just that, like, it's just, you just never know. There could be standing out players which you'd never think of. Like Igor Thiago, he has been brilliant for Brentford, but could he shine for Brazil? You just never know. Could Vinicius do really well for Brazil? You just never ever know what is going to happen. But yeah, like, I do think there could be some young talents who could obviously become really big. It is a shame that Rio from Liverpool did not actually get called up for the World Cup. I did think that he was going to shine if he did get called up, but it is football. If Thomas Tuchel didn't think he was good enough, then there you are. Like, obviously, you've got to be tactical with the players that you call up. You've got to make sure that it's all going to be all right. Like, you just got to make sure that you know what you're doing in this tournament. But I do think that there's going to be some underdogs in this tournament, especially with Senegal. You've obviously got some teams in here which you may not think that could do really well, but with the game yesterday with Japan versus Netherlands, it did really surprise me. I didn't think that Japan would have drew to Netherlands. Like, Netherlands have got a decent side, so I do think that Japan and Senegal could be a shock. You just never know. Like, they could get into the knockout stages. They could knock out a really good team. You just never know, and that is why I do think that they could be the underdogs. But the top scorer predictions, I do think it will be between Dembele and Harry Kane. Like, they're both incredible players. Obviously, they're proven in their own leagues. Obviously, Harry Kane for Bayern Munich, he's been brilliant for Bayern. He's been incredible. With obviously Dembele for PSG, he scored in the Champions League final. He is your main player, so I do think that them two are going to be tying with the top scorer. There could be a standing out player, but I'm not too sure who could be the standing out player just yet. But you never know. I will maybe make a prediction in the next episode or in the upcoming episodes. But you never know. The same with a young player, but it could be Lamine Yamal. Like, he was brilliant in the Euros. He's been brilliant for Barcelona. I do think that he could be the best player for the youngsters. Like, he has that generational, like, it's obviously a different generation now. Like, obviously, you've still got your Messi, you've got your Ronaldo, but you've got these young talents coming in with, like, Yamal, Dembele. You've got these players that could shine. You've obviously got Rodgers as well, who has been called up from England. He could be the best young player as well. You just never know. It is a shame that Cole Palmer didn't get called up and Gibbs White. That was quite a shock. Yes, Cole Palmer didn't do well for Chelsea the season just gone, but he has been brilliant in these tournaments for England. But you just never know. Obviously, Morgan Rogers being called up, it's brilliant for him. He's just won the Europa League with Villa. Like, they finished in the top 6 of the Premier League. Like, they're just brilliant. Like, I do think that they could be the players. So I'm going to go with the best young player in this tournament. Could be Dembele, Rodgers, and Lamine Yamal. I do think they're the 3 players to be watching in this tournament. But yeah, I'll obviously in the next couple of episodes be going on to more with the games, and because obviously it has only been the opening of a few of the games. So once obviously all the first games have gone, then obviously you can get more into detail of what could happen, who could be in the knockout. You just never know. Like, yeah, but thank you for watching my very first episode of Francesca's Final Whistle.